Stand for the pledge, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome, everyone. This is Monday, December 3rd. Thanks for showing up tonight. This is going to be our new area for a while. I'm sure Mr. Booth will give us an update under administrative reports. So thank you for your patience. Call the roll, please.
Peter?
Here.
Ellery?
Here.
Fitzpatrick?
Here.
Freeman?
Here.
Krupa?
Here.
Ford? McCartney?
Here. Motion to excuse member Laporte. Support.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Consent agenda, City Council minutes of November 19th, 2018, special and regular
Support.
meetings. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. We have a presentation tonight from Mr. Stephen Pangori from Anderson, Stein, Western. Steve, welcome.
Thank you. Do I need this?
Yes.
I do. Turn it on. Testing, testing.
It's good. It's good.
It's just for the TV, so.
It is, okay. So I'm here to give you an update on a couple projects. The first one is the SAW grant and Stormwater Asset Management Plan. I have a brief presentation. If you could, you've got copies at your desk where you can take a look at the slideshow. I've got to walk up to that computer though and switch it, unless I can ask Councilman Ellery to do that for me, maybe?
No.
This will be good.
I think all you need to do is hit that down button when I say next slide.
Okay.
You good? Okay, you can, if you could switch it for me,
Yeah,
please.
okay.
Hey.
It's gonna cost.
Okay, so as most of you should be aware, back in November of 2015, we received notification from the state of Michigan that the city received a SAW grant in the amount of $468,228 with a local match requirement of $52,000 and $52,070. The grant required us to complete the project by November 30th of 2018, which was last Friday, and the project was completed by then. Next, please. The grant included the cleaning and TV inspection of the city's storm sewer system, manhole and catch basin inspections, inventory of all the city's storm sewer system in a GIS format, condition assessment of the storm sewer assets, a stormwater asset management plan, and a stormwater management plan. Next slide, please. Summary on the cleaning and TV inspection. The cleaning and TV inspection was completed by Allstate Powervac. The original contract amount was roughly $352,000. Work began in February of 2017 and was completed in September of 2018. They cleaned and TV'd approximately 20 of the city's 23 miles of storm sewers, and they cleaned out 189 catch basins. The difference between the 20 miles and the 23.1 miles is there's a significant amount of storm sewer that outlet into either the Pine River or the St. Clair River that are underwater. And those lines were not televised because you would have had to put in a big bulkhead at the end of those lines and pump the water out. And it would have taken a lot of time and cost a lot of additional money. So that work was not included in the project and wasn't done. The final contract, can you go back one? I'm sorry. The final contract amount was $261,000, which included about $5,600 of liquidated damages that were charged against the contract because the contractor was late in completing the project. Next slide, please. Thank you. In the stormwater asset management plan that was prepared, there was the defects that we discovered in reviewing the closed caption television inspection of the storm sewer were given a rating which we call criticality or business risk exposure, or BRE score. That score ranged from a 1 to 25, with 25 being the most critical. The DEQ considers anything with a BRE of 16 or greater to be critical. could hit that one more time, Mr. Ellery, please. Thank you. With the storm sewer pipes, we identified 73 storm sewers that were classified as critical. And the total estimated cost to repair these lines was $539,000. On the storm structures, we identified 54 storm sewer structures that fell into that critical classification at an estimated repair cost of $73,000. This is a map. This map represents the storm sewer segments within the community that were identified as being critical. I also brought bigger scale maps that I'll leave here with the city that indicate the location of those lines. And then if you could flick the slide once more. This map indicates the locations of the storm sewer structures that we had classified as critical as a result of the report. Next slide. So in summary, in the Stormwater Asset Management Plan, we identified a total of $732,000 of improvements that were necessary, and we're proposing that work be done over a 6-year period. Next slide, please. So we're recommending a capital improvement program of years 1 through 6 to include repair and replacement of the critical storm sewers and structures with an estimated cost of about $122,000 per year. Capital improvement plan for years 7 through 20 to include repair and replacement of assets based upon an updated asset management plan. Implement a condition investigation and O&M program that cleans and TVs your sewers and cleans and inspects structures every 5 to 10 years to keep the asset management plan current. Update the asset management plan annually, incorporating newly collected data and monthly improvements from the construction projects, and to develop and adopt policies to assess, repair, and or replace stormwater assets concurrent with road construction projects. That policy has been adopted as you guys do street projects. There it is back again. As you do street projects, you do take care of the stormwater problems that may exist on those streets. I think, let me, trip myself here.
Hit the button.
One easy
Hit the
job.
button.
One easy thing to do.
Easy thing to do.
I'm not touching it now. I'll get blamed for it. It's got it all messed up and wants me to fix it.
That was the last slide. So it did work out well. Thank you. And
Thank you very much.
I'd be available to answer any questions that you may have regarding.
Did we use the full $468,000?
We did.
Was there any extra expenses?
We have one last final disbursement request to make to the state of Michigan for expenses that were incurred up through November 30th. And I think we have 3 months to make that request.
Really?
Okay.
We're going to be very, very close.
Okay.
The other part of this program that I didn't mention was the stormwater management plan. That was something that there was roughly $16,000 of the total grant was attributed toward that work, which was work that ECT did in conjunction with your MS4 NPDES stormwater permit. That was actually done a couple years ago and your permit was issued. So those expenses were included in this grant, and we submitted ECT's invoices, and you were reimbursed for that as part of the program.
What's different about this inspection that we did a few years ago with our stormwater?
The difference is, the one we did a few years ago was your sanitary system.
Okay.
This was the storm. And as far as I know, this was the first time that your storm sewer system had actually been cleaned and televised, except for routine maintenance when you had problem areas.
Steve, is there a possibility of another SAW grant for this? Six-year program?
To take care of the repair work, no. The SAW grant was only to develop the asset management plan. Unfortunately, there weren't any dollars available for any of the defects that were found. Fortunately, I'll be honest with you, if looking at 20-plus miles of storm sewer in your city to end up only with $732,000 worth of what's called critical concern or repair was pretty extraordinary. We saw a lot of pipe that was in pretty darn good shape.
Is there do you have an age limit or an age variance on our storm sewer system?
You know, I do not know what that is, but I can tell you there's some pretty old stuff in there, and obviously there's some newer stuff in the newer developments that you have. Quite a range.
Anything else for Steve?
The only other thing I wanted to briefly touch on was the resurfacing of the road reconstruction program, in particular with Henry. As you are aware, council awarded a contract to Murray Underground for the reconstruction of Henry, Thornapple, and a piece of 11th Street. Murray got started in October on Henry. We ended up with probably the wettest October that I think the state has seen in a long time. I was actually completely amazed that they were able to finish Henry, or got Henry to the point that it is. I think everybody's aware that they did. Henry is complete with exception of the final asphalt wearing surface. They placed the first lift of asphalt, I want to say on November 12th. I think the day after that, we ended up with temperatures that were below what we would permit the placement of any further asphalt. The contractor ramped up the manholes that were in the middle of the road so that they don't get damaged or hit by plows during the wintertime, during the plowing. There's a possibility that there may be some damage to the curb from the plows, although Bob and his people are aware of the condition of that road. There were a couple of soft spots in the road that we just couldn't work around or we couldn't address because of how wet October was. Quite honestly, I don't want to say happy, but I'm glad that we didn't put the final asphalt surface on. There's a couple of those soft spots that have already shown themselves through the first layer of asphalt. Those will be repaired in the springtime and before the final surface is put on the road, and you'll never see those repairs. If we would have put the final surface on and then it would have failed, then we would have seen a patch in the brand new street in order to repair those areas. So as far as the other two streets go, Thornapple, we're extending the sanitary sewer down to the cul-de-sac in Thornapple to serve the very last house there. That permit was issued in October. That street is ready to go as soon as weather permits, and the contractor is able to get started on that come springtime.
Will he finish Henry before he starts on Thornapple, or is he going to do that at the same time?
You know, I think because the completion of Henry is really going to be a subcontractor that's doing the asphalt work. So I think it'll happen concurrently. I think they'll probably start on Thornapple in 11th, and then as soon as they're able to put the final surface on Henry.
So because weather got a hold of that project, is there anything in our contract that protects the city from any damage going forward because that job wasn't finished?
Not particularly. There is a warranty on the project. It goes into place for a two-year period from the time in which the final payment on the contract is made. In this particular case, since the work isn't completed yet, we'll have to assess what damages there are in the springtime and then determine whose responsibility that is.
Okay.
All right. Okay, thank you, Steve. All right, we're going to go to number 6.
Thanks, Steve.
Ordinance introduction resolution adoption 2018-09 marijuana establishment prohibition. Mr. Downey.
Your Honor, before council for its consideration is a proposed ordinance that council may elect to adopt tonight under the emergency provisions of the charter that would prohibit recreational marijuana establishments. This is a response to the law that was enacted as a result of Proposition 1 that was on the ballot last month. At the time I authored my letter to council at the end of last month, it hadn't been determined when the new law would take effect. But subsequent to that time, it's been determined that the new law will take effect on Thursday, December the 6th. So if council wants to have this prohibition in place at the time of the passage or the effective date of the new statute, tonight would be the night to adopt this ordinance. And this is allowable under the new statute. Every municipal unit of government has the right to opt out, and we're simply availing ourselves of that determination if that's how council wishes to proceed.
So if we move to opt out, is there an opportunity for us later on down the road to either amend or rescind the ordinance?
Yeah, that's correct, Councilmember McCartney. This is not an irrevocable decision. If this council or a different council thinks otherwise, the ordinance could always be rescinded.
I'll make a motion to adopt the ordinance.
I'll support it.
And I would note that the ordinance would have, or the motion would have to indicate that it's being done on an emergency basis under the charter.
I got a question, Jim. When the state starts taxing this stuff, is there a chance that we could miss out on the tax revenue from it by opting out?
We are excluded from sharing in the tax revenue if the city opts out. It's only those communities that participate that will share in the tax revenue.
Motion made.
And I was just going to,
I'll amend it for what he said.
for emergency purposes.
All right, the motion's been made and supported. Any other questions? Call the roll, please.
Kinsfater.
Yes.
Seaman.
No.
Lupa.
Yes.
McCartney.
Yes.
Ellery.
Yes.
Cedar.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Downey. Well, number 7, City Superintendent.
Your Honor, I've got a couple items. The city's annual citizens guide is complete. Council has received an email this evening of the submission that was sent to the state. Residents can review the same document online or by stopping by and seeing the city clerk. Details provided in the guide shows the revenues that the city receives and the expenses that are incurred to provide city services. You'll also see in there where it lists the city's outstanding debt obligations, and it actually even gives you detail of the payments that are due through the end of that each piece of debt. Second thing I wanted to talk about was Mr. Pangori had mentioned the asset management plan for the storm sewer. We also have one for our sewer system, and we also have one that's being done for the water system. And eventually, I believe, Steve, correct me if I'm wrong, but they are also going to have us produce one eventually for roads.
Correct.
So it's really good when you, for budgeting purposes, when you want to look at what you need to spend maybe for the next 5 years out or so. So just want to make sure council was aware that that was going on. I know some of the invoices that come through either from Steve or maybe ECT, maybe you're not certain what those are for, but that is what we're spending the money on. They're helping us set up these asset management plans that we can utilize. And then as far as City Hall, we will be here for a period of time. I had a meeting last week, and we are moving forward. Steve's group is putting together, I believe, some bid packs to bid out the demo work, and then we'll go from there. So that's all I have, Your Honor.
Any questions from Mr. Booth? All right, Mr. Downey, do you have anything
I
else?
have nothing this evening, Your Honor.
A question for the attorney, please, if I could, Your Honor. On our desk tonight, I came in, I read this, I briefed through this note from this, what's Ben Jaffe, that was addressing Annette with his concerns, I guess, with which way city council or city councils around here may vote on the ordinances, and because I didn't get a chance to really dissect this to understand it, but it looks like he's got some concerns regarding enforcement and illegal sales and speakeasies that would be popping up around communities. Can you address this? Have you had a chance to look at it?
I have not. I'd be glad to take a look at it, and I can either respond in writing or call you privately.
Okay. More concerns for enforcement and police department, I guess, than it would be for me. I mean, you're probably gonna run into these things anyway, so. What's the remedy for enforcement if these things, we have the right to close them down and fine them, and once we reject the right to sell?
It would be equivalent to if a restaurant were opened without a license, without an inspection. This new system requires all the licensing and permitting that would go with any other business. And if, in so acting as it did tonight, City Council is prohibiting a person who wants to open such an establishment in St. Clair. So if he or she to do that, or if some corporate entity were to do that, they would be in violation of the city's ordinance. They wouldn't be able to get the appropriate licensing or
And
certification.
what we acted on tonight doesn't prohibit the legal use of marijuana under the law as it's been adopted.
No, the
It's
city
just
does
gonna-
not have the authority
Okay.
to override the state law.
It's just gonna create probably an enforcement issue for local police departments. For illegal
Conceivably,
sales.
if somebody opens up an establishment that does not comport with our ordinances, the city police would be compelled to ticket them and shut them down.
Anything else, Mr. Downey?
Thanks, Jim.
Let's go to see any city departments tonight. All right, D, authority, boards, commissions, committee chairs, council reps. We have no unfinished business. Let's go to new business number 9. Special event permit, East Shasta Education Foundation Chili Heart 5K Run Walk. Chief?
I have 3 of them, so I'm going to say they all have submitted their information paperwork. It's all good. I'm approving all of them, but I'm going to list them separately. The first one, February 9th, the East China Schools Chili Heart 5K Run. They're all in order, and I would accept the motion to, I guess you guys have to approve that.
I'll make a motion to approve A and C as presented.
Support.
All in
Then I
favor,
have-
say aye.
Oh,
Aye.
Opposed?
trying to speed you up.
It's all right. Go to B, Special Olympics.
No.
Special Olympics, February 24th, is going to have their polar bear plunge in the harbor there. And all their paperwork's in order also.
Make a motion, we approve.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed?
And this
St.
one's,
Clair Association Gala.
this is a last minute one. This is for September 2019. All their paperwork is in order, and I recommend that they be approved.
So moved.
Support.
Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Let's go to D, Library Commission bylaws. Mr. Downey.
Your Honor, before City Council tonight is a request from the Library Commission to approve proposed bylaws. And as I indicated to Your Honor and members of council before tonight's meeting, I have observed a legal defect in the bylaws as submitted. And for that reason, I am recommending that this action item be tabled and referred back to the commission to address the failure that they present. And that is, the Library Commission is constituted by 7 board members. Under the city's charter, section 4.07B, the appointment of all board commissioners and any other boards of the city must be made by the mayor, and they must be approved with the advice and consent of the city council. These proposed library commission bylaws would infringe on that duly authorized charter authority by limiting the number of commissioners that the mayor could appoint and that the council could approve to 6 of the 7. And for that reason, these bylaws cannot be approved as submitted. So I will put something in writing, and I'll refer that back to the Library Commission for their consideration, and hopefully in January we can have something back that's not deficient.
I'd make a motion to table the approval of the bylaws until the corrections are made.
Support.
All right, motion made and supported to table the Library Commission bylaws. Questions?
Yes, is that in reference to the president of the Friends of the St. Clair Library?
Yes, it's Article 2, Section 1 of the proposed bylaws.
So the amendment simply needs to state that that membership also will be appointed by the mayor and council.
That's correct.
Thank you.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? E, selection of regular council meeting dates for 2019. Before you have Mr. Sturdy's 2019 dates, months, dates for your perusal and approval.
I move to approve as presented.
Any questions?
September 3rd, is that a Monday or Tuesday?
September 3rd is a Tuesday due to Labor Day.
Okay.
Any other questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Go to claim to account number 10, November 21st and 29th, 2018.
If there's no questions, Your Honor, I make a motion to approve the expenses as presented.
Support.
All right, motion made, support, any questions?
Hard for me to say, I look forward to this.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? We'll go to number 11, public questions and public comment. Everybody have anything tonight? Give us your name and address, please.
603 Clinton, Rachel Papa. I live on the corner of Fedmore and Clinton, and I guess I just have a question if we have a plan to put a stoplight there in the future. There have been an increasing amount of accidents, and today there was a pretty significant one. It involved 3 cars, 2 of which had to be towed away because they weren't drivable. And that seems to be more frequent, and I just get concerned with the apartments going up and the Coney Island going up, that is just going to be even harder. At this point, I live right on the corner there. Me and my husband, we can't even park our cars. We have to pull right up to the garage because if we pull any further back, our cars are in the way, you can't see around the corner. So I just get a little concerned.
Thank you. Should we refer that to Chief? Got it. Thank you, Rachel. Anybody else? Okay, we'll go to number 12. Mayor and council member comments and announcements. I have a couple quick things. Number 1, I want to acknowledge Mr. Booth. He went to, where was it? What that training?
Battle Creek?
Battle Creek. And he received a certificate of completion for the Michigan Association of Planning. He's now a planning expert.
Not true,
Give him a clap.
but I did go.
So he's a little smarter anyway. Also, I was talking to our clerk. We were talking about the different businesses that are coming into town, and I was kind of shocked by this, so I thought I wanted to share it with everybody because maybe you know this and I didn't. In the city of St. Clair, there's over 200 businesses just in the city of St. Clair. And in the last few months, H&M out on Clinton Avenue, if you haven't been out there yet, beautiful facility. Yeah. Black and Blue out in the Neiman's Mall, hearing nothing but good things about it. Manina's in the mall, the wine shop. Mm-hmm. Simply Fresh, where coffee shop Sue's used to be, yeah. And then Blackbird Home Goods in the mall over by, behind.
Water.
Yeah. So 205 is the total that she has for me. So I was just kind of impressed by that in this little town. So keep up the good work, everybody. Mm-hmm. Anybody else have anything? Okay, I got to get a motion to go into closed session to discuss strategy connected with negotiation of a collective bargaining agreement with employees represented by the POLC.
I'll make the motion, Your Honor.
Support.
Call the roll, please.
Freeman.
Yes.
Krupa.
Yes.
McCartney.
Yes.
Ellery.
Yes.
Kinsfather.
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes.
Carried.
We'll come back out after the closed session. We're not going to take any action. You're welcome to stay if you have any questions about anything. But thank you for coming. Thanks for your patience. Careful going home.